another game of Warhammer 40,000. We're playing a Maelstrom mission again today, and it's deadlock, so that is 6 objectives on the first turn, and then you drop a strategic card for the following turn. So it goes 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so I guess the story is the Imperium have been driven out of these trench works, and reinforcements have come in for the Space Wolves to try and reclaim this sector, and they have to do it early before Chaos totally overrun it. So Space Wolves have been sent in as the last ditch effort to hold the line. So the objectives that both forces will be fighting over, we've got one here just outside of the Vengeance battery. We've got one on the other side of that trench wall. There's one on the Aquila bunker. There's another one just outside the smaller bunker's door. One just at this battery, this gun platform, and the last one is just there in that trench. So these are the locations of the battlefield that both armies will be fighting over, mainly based around the guns and the strategic buildings. So these are the ones that have to be claimed. All of the guns are out of action due to the previous fighting, so they'll not be playing a part in the game, although that macro cannon would be handy. Okay, so this is 1850 of Space Wolves. We're using the Curse of the Wolf and Book, so these are the Drakeslayers detachment. So of course we've got Khorne Daemonkin himself, he's in charge, and we've got 3 units of Grey Hunters to go with him. He'll be joining the squad, they'll be in the Land Raider, but there's 10. There's 2 melter guns, there's a power fist in there, and the wolf pack leader, he's got a frost blade, frost sword even, and he's got a melter bomb. There's a 5-man unit here, just 5 of them. There's a plasma gun, and they have a dedicated Razorback with a las cannon, and this squad's exactly the same. So both Razorbacks have a dozer blade, and these will be travelling around in the Land Raider, and the Land Raider is part of a Spear of Rust formation. So we've got a Predator Destructor, and there's a Iron Priest. So that's a nice little formation, get some good rolls with those. And we've got the Wolf Terminators, Wolf Guard Terminators. They're all, as you see, with the hammers and shields. A unit of Blood Claws, 5-man, there's a power fist. And there's another 5-man Blood Claw unit here, and the Wolf Pack leader, he's got a pair of Frost Claws. And last but not least, actually sorry, not yet, but we've got 5 Wolf Scouts. There's a missile launcher, all with camo cloaks and sniper rifles. And then last but not least, we've got Murderfang in a drop pod with a Deathwind launcher. And this is the first outing with Murderfang with these extra 2 attacks, thanks to the new errata, so he's going to be even more furious these days.
Okay, it's 1850 points of Khorne Daemonkin, and this is a Blood Host detachment. We have a Slaughter Cult, and that's led by Herald on foot. And then we have 6 units of 8 Bloodletters. And we have 2 units of Khorne Berserkers. And the Khorne Berserkers have got a power weapon on Champion. Champion's also got a melter bomb and 2 plasma pistols each, and they're riding in rhinos with dozer blades. And we have 5 possessed, and 2 units of 2 spawn, and 2 units of 8 colourists. And then we have the war engines. One is a Mauler Fiend with Lasher Tendrils, and the other a Forge Fiend with an extra plasma cannon.
Okay, so both forces have arrived now, they're both staring each other down. Once again, Space Wolf set up first. As the player, I'm pretty much on a roll of going first here. It's been a massive streak of it. So they've set up first. I'll put Space Wolves on the objectives where they can. So this one here and this one there. All the rhinos and whatnot are trying to get a bit of cover. The Bloodclaws are ready to move out. Long Fangs were trying to get the best field of fire they could, and this last unit of Bloodclaws are gonna do the best to protect the tank, the Land Raider, because I think that's the only way the Daemonkin are going to be able to take that out in hand to hand. So the Space Wolves having a counter attack rule because of this whole formation. If anyone jumps on the tank, they could respond and try and beat them off the tank. So the Daemonkin, they're set up in response, so it's a big mash up of red down here. We've got the 2 rhinos right on the goal line, ready to scream down the battlefield. The cultists setting up shop in safe areas, just going to probably stay on those objectives all game, and then all the demons in a mass line going to walk no man's land, see how far they can get. With the Mauler Fiend right in the centre of it, he's going to have to play a role. He's the only one who could seriously take out the Land Raider. There's a few melter bombs in the army, but he's the one to look out for. And it's his first game ever, so we'll see if new model syndrome creeps in or if he's destined for greater things. Reserves for Space Wolves, we've got 2 units of the Grey Hunters there in the Razorbacks, of course. We've got an outflanking unit of Wolf Scouts. Murderfang is going to come down in the drop pod. Terminator is going to deep strike, and Crom, the Iron Priest, and the 10-man unit of Grey Hunters, they are in the Land Raider. So Khorne, being Khorne, they do not do anything in reserve. They're just going to scream across the table. Okay, so can the Daemonkin steal the initiative? No, so Space Wolves securing that first turn. You can hear the engines roar. Let's get them moving. So Murderfang is going to try and deploy right on this objective. The drop pod's coming down. Direct hit, so Murderfang successfully going to land on that objective, and he's going to try and hold the line from these demons. Okay, so Murderfang deploys, and as we said, he manages to get onto this objective, which gives the Space Wolves an early victory point. The Bloodclaws, they move up onto this building here, and the vehicles in the backfield here, they're going to stay put, and the Long Fangs are also going to stay still. What that means, it's hold the line, so there's another early victory point for Space Wolves. And the las cannons from the Razorback is trained down the battlefield, going to try and take out a rhino if they can. and the Land Raiders pulled forward, getting the assault cannons in range of the rhinos also. And there's another set of las cannons trained all the way from the backfield on the Mauler Fiend, so there's possibilities there for the Space Wolves for first blood, and if they can manage to take out a vehicle, it is big game hunter as well, so possible big turn for the Space Wolves coming up. So Space Wolf shooting phase, we're going to have this Razorback. It's going to fire over the cover at the Mauler Fiend, so it's the battle of the new model, because these Razorbacks haven't been used either with the las cannon versus the brand new appearance of the Mauler Fiend. So hits on a 3, it's a hit, strength 9, he's armor 12, and there's a glance, needs to save on a 4, takes a glance. Okay, this Land Raider is going to fire the assault cannon at this rhino, closest to the table edge. The Wolf Priest, he's inside the tank, so he's going to give that tank hunter with that formation special rule. So there's 2 hits, it's twin linked, all hit, so strength 6, and there's a pen, this one's not good enough, so tank hunter, re-roll. Okay, so there's a pen and a glance. The rhino needs to, or can't save, there is no save, so there's 2 glances. I'm going to snap fire the multi-melter on top. No good. Even with, in fact that would have been power of the machine spirit and it still wasn't good enough. So the rhino comes away with 2 hull points. We've got a las cannon to fire at it from here. See if we can clip that down and get that first blood. It's a hit on a 6, and it's a glance, and that's the rhino out of action. So the berserkers have to get out. That is big game hunter and first blood. It's a very good first turn from the Space Wolves there. We've got first blood, big game hunter, hold the line with all of these vehicles at the back, and secure objective 1 thanks to Murder Fang and his drop pod. So 4 points in turn 1, that's a major blow to the Daemonkin. We're going to have to look for a good hand in their first turn. So the Daemonkin in their first turn, they're on the move, they're moving fast. They need objective 4 twice, so they've strung out and claimed that one, and all of the lines have moved forward at some speed, making their way into the centre of the board. And the Mauler Fiend's moving up, he's got his sights on the Land Raider early. And the Mauler Fiend, or the Forge Fiend rather, he's moved around the Razorback, and these berserkers emerge from the wreckage and the ruin of that rhino, and they're not bothered to run. So the Mauler Fiend, the Forge Fiend has open fire all the way across at this Razorback. He has got a cover save, there's 2 pens, they both go through, and he's got a glance to save as well, and that is saved, so he might come through this.
2 pens?
2 pens, yeah. So there's a 1 and a 3, so he's going to live on, but that las cannon is going to be snap firing next turn. So to load off for the Daemonkin. And is there anything else?
Barrel.
Oh, the exploding barrel explodes and kills
2,
including the Reaper in that Bloodthirster squad. So not the best of turns there for luck for the Daemonkin. But they did get victory points here.
Yeah, so we've got 1 here.
And 1
We've got 2 here.
outside the bunker, and 2 on objective 4. Three objectives in Daemonkin's first turn, it's pretty good. And this Forge Fiend gets in the Will Not Die roll, and he regains a hull point. So he was teetering on the edge, gets that, and he's batting the fight. Okay, so Space Wolves turn 2, reserves have turned up. The Wolf Scouts have came on from this side of the board, and the Terminators are going to attempt to deep strike right on that spot there. So they're going backwards. This could be dangerous. 5, 6. So they should stay on the board there. Looking very worried. Yeah, they'll stay on the board. So the Space Wolves need that objective, hence the presence around that objective. Okay, so the Terminators come into the battle dangerously close to the edge of the board, and because the Space Wolves need that objective, the Wolf Scouts are going to have to kill that last Berserker in the conga line, or the Blood Letter rather, and the Terminator's going to have to get a good run to get there. And Murderfang has moved on. He's going to try and tackle these spawn before they become a problem, and he's in close support with the Blood Claws, so they have left their options open. Possibly, if this Mauler Fiend survives a multi-melter and assault cannon from the Land Raider, they might have to go in to tie him up. So it's going to be interesting to see how the shooting phase turns out. And this Razorback from that objective here is pulled around the corner. They're going to add some fire to the Mauler Fiend, and the squad has also got out to try and get a plasma gun shot off at him as well. So it's total desperation for the Space Wolves to try and save that Land Raider, and this Predator is going to keep his options open. So the Razorback that is damaged, that'll be snap found, so don't expect much from that. And the Grey Hunters, they get out only 2 inches, so they've got a plasma gun, so they're going to see what is on offer. And of course these Blood Claws move up with the Land Raider, and the Land Raider deposits Khorne and his full squad of 10 with the Iron Priest. We're going to look to engage these Berserkers straight away, try and nip this in the bud. Okay, so it's on to Space Wolf shooting phase and see how successful it could possibly be. Okay, so no success on this side. The Scouts tried the best to kill just one Bloodletter. He might as well have been a Bloodthirster because he didn't get killed, but the Terminators managed to do their part and run onto the objective. It's not going to be enough to secure it. Just that Bloodletter hanging on, that scuppered all of the Space Wolves' plans in that section of the board. Okay, so Murderfang opens up with his heavy flamer on the spawn, and it spills over into the Bloodletter squad as well. So it cleanses them by fire, takes a chunk out of the Bloodletters, and he's ready for an assault on these spawn. Try to slow these down. The amalgamated firepower, everyone in this whole department tried to fire at the Mauler Fiend, took off a power fist, and all this collected fire in the backfield as well, fired at him and came away with nothing. So the Blood Claws are going to have to suck it up and try and make a charge just to slow him down. He's 1 power fist down, he's on his last hull point. There is a power fist in there, but he's still very, very dangerous. And Khorne and the unit opens up with melter guns and bolt pistols and grenades thrown around. Managed to kill just 2, I think. 2 everything's blood. 2 Berserkers, so they go down. So that is a charge imminent from the Space Wolves there, and a charge imminent in this department. The Long Fangs shot up onto the Forge Fiend, put a hull point on it, and the plasma cannon did a split fire shot onto the Possessed and manages to kill 1. So some success there. And now it's on to charges. Khorne is going to look to turn these Berserkers over. It's going to be a hard fight though. These Berserkers do know how to fight. Okay, so Khorne's unit, they make it in the combat, they dance through the Overwatch fire, nobody's killed, so it's a full strength charge. And the Blood Claws managed to get in on the Mauler Fiend. That's going to be a tough old fight there. And Murderfang bursts through the trench there, and he's going to take on the spawn. So that should be easy pickings for him. And in this fight here, the Iron Priest is going to be the one to issue the challenge to the Berserker champion, because he has got a power weapon, so that Artificer armour is going to try and save him. Meanwhile, Khorne and his unit are going to try and hack through these Berserkers, but these Berserkers like the Space Wolves, have counter attacks, so there's going to be a lot of attacks flying around. It's going to be a brutal fight. So combat is resolved now, so Khorne himself actually doesn't do anything, but it's up to the rest of the Grey Hunters. They do the job, and it's still a full squad. They don't take any casualties. Actually, no one did die, so almost at full strength. It was a good combat for them. They've wiped out the Berserkers and onto the next victim. And over here it was a massive success. The Blood Claws managed to take out the Mauler Fiend before he lands a blow back. And Murderfang just murders everyone. So this was the only victory point the Space Wolves were able to secure in that turn. That's secure objective 3. And as we know, this one eludes the Space Wolves for a turn. They might be able to get that back in future turns. So just one victory point, but some good damage put on the Daemonkin. But they're now in the belly of the beast. There's all these units. They're going to carve up the Space Wolves, no doubt, and they've got probably a good amount of blood ties in the hand now, so expect some reserves coming on for the Daemonkin. Okay, so Daemonkin, it's their turn 2 now. The reserves turn up, the blood ties kick in, and the skull cannon manifests itself there. So he is looking to take on the Terminators and the Wolf Scouts. They try and hold the Space Marines off this objective because they do need it, and the Blood Letters have turned back to stop that as well. So because he's got the Slaughter Cult, everyone made of flesh or Demon Ichor has feel no pain, so all of a sudden the Daemonkin have become very, very tough. So they have all swarmed around Khorne's unit and this unit of Blood Claws. There's units everywhere. Okay, so the combat line erupts with fire. The ectoplasm cannon comes straight down on the Terminators, and nobody gets a save on the Storm Shield, and everyone's dead. So the Terminators are swiftly dispatched, and the Skull Cannon, he sends a large blast of skulls, what can only be described like that, comes straight down on the Scouts, kills all but one, and he passes his morale check. So he's still in the game, but it is such a heavy blow on this side. I do not think the Space Wolves are going to be able to take that objective. And on this side, some plasma pistols and bolt guns strip away 2 of Khorne's unit, and a Blood Claw dies from a Rhino's bolter. So Khorne is starting to kill now, but this isn't even the phase that the damage is going to be done, so the blades are ready to strike.
Hot and ready.
Okay, so Khorne's assault phase, these Bloodletters fill the charge, so they're not going to be able to finish off that last Wolf Scout. And all of the Bloodletters from this department, they all pile through, and they're going to turn over the Blood Claws. Don't fancy the chances there at all. And in this area of the board, this unit of Bloodletters fails to charge in. The spawn of the next to go in. Space Wolves are able to bring one down in the Overwatch, luckily, and then the rest just pile in. So we've got the Possessed in there, and there's 2 units of 8 Bloodletters. It's going to be rough going for Khorne and his squad. So that looks like a sure thing for the denizens of Khorne. Okay, so the combats have been resolved. These Bloodletters just crush the Blood Claws. They do very little in return, so the Bloodletters are just on to their next victims. And Khorne and his unit, they take a hammering. There's only one Grey Hunter left. The Iron Priest is a hero. He took most things on his 2+ armour. He's got a wound, and Khorne kills a lot of them himself. So Khorne is still holding strong, but everyone's dropping around him, and it's looking very grim for him. So the points wise, the Daemonkin pick up 2 points by destroying that Terminator squad. They just went down far too easily and gave up 2 points. So that is overwhelming firepower and no prisoners. So good round from the Daemonkin there. It's out the Space Wolves turn 3. I've entered Space Wolves turn 3 now, so we're in midway in the battle. So the Land Raider has pivoted, and those flamers, AP3 flamers, are looking to target the Berserkers. These Blood Claws that were behind it, they're moving up. They're going to have to protect Khorne and his slowly dwindling unit of bodyguards. If they do not succeed, I think Khorne's going to have to just cross his fingers for an appearance in the Grey Knights, which isn't going to happen. But these are staying put on this objective. This Razorback has moved back to claim the objective next to that Vengeance Battery, and the squad that was here have moved inside to the macro cannon building, so they're going to move around to the windows and get some bolter shots off at the demons. The drop pod clearly has taken that objective, and there's another objective that the scout, Wolf Scout, has moved onto there. It's just going to be up to Murderfang to engage in a combat and pull those demons away from it. So with being on more than 3 objectives there, the Space Wolves are going to be able to achieve ascendancy, or hopefully anyway. And the Wolf Scout, if the demons are pulled away from that sector, they'll achieve that objective as well. So there's potentially a victory point and D3 on top of that. So come away with some decent victory points in this turn, but we could possibly lose the commander, and that would be a big blow for the Space Wolves. Space Wolves shooting phase is concluded. This Razorback here takes a shot at the Mauler Fiend down the battlefield there, and nothing happens. The Murderfang Dreadnought gets 4 hits and 4 wounds, but incredible rolling on the demon saves, and only 1 dies. And the Longfang, importantly, throws a grenade at the Blood Letters and insta-kills the first one, so gets past to feel no pain. So that is going to be a victory point for the Space Wolves regardless, if Murderfang makes his charge. And that's 1, 2, 3 objectives secured, so there is ascendancy already achieved. Over here, everyone in this trench and in the bunker itself performed poorly. Just one Bloodletter. They don't die really because they're not alive, I suppose, evaporates. And just a hull point on the Rhino. Better work from the Land Raider. It had preferred enemy thanks to the Iron Priest being within 12, and the let loose with the flames and torch. 3 Berserkers, and the final one's finished off with the multi-melter. So it was an important shot. The last multi-melter shot killed the Berserker with the melter bomb, so the Land Raider could go untouched in this game. And it's now a 7-inch charge. Now the way has been cleared for the Blood Claws to try and come in and rescue Khorne. So that is an important role, and we'll do that now. So it's a 7-inch charge, and to fail on a 6, that's going to be brutal. Khorne is probably going to perish in this one. Okay, so the combats have been resolved now. Khorne and the Iron Priest, they hold strong. The Iron Priest taking all of the hits on his +2 armour, and the last Grey Hunter goes down. So it is a blood point for Khorne, with Khorne and his best friend hang on. So that is a really impressive result there. But there's so many Khorne units around, the combat's only going to get bigger again. Murderfang, it's a blessing in disguise. He goes in and the demons get a phenomenal amount of saves, so there's 2 left, but that is going to lock him in combat, which means he's not going to get shot by the Mauler Fiend. So it's a blessing in disguise, and this Wolf Guard does secure that point, but he is certain to not be of this earth anymore in this next turn. So that is a good turn for the Space Wolves. We've got a D3 ascendancy point. Oh, so it's just 1, so just 2 victory points, but that is better than nothing. So it's now on to Daemonkin's next turn. Okay, so the Daemonkin in their movement phase, so we've got all there's two squads of bloodletters there, so they've moved down, going to attack the trenches. This defence line from the Space Wolves is under threat now. This Rhino picks up the Berserkers that were nearby, and that goes 12 down the board and pops its smoke launchers, so it's protecting itself. There's still Berserkers in there, so there's an attack on the Space Wolves back lines here. The Mauler Fiend, or Forge Fiend rather, he's moved up on the wall. He's going to fire over the combat straight onto these Blood Claws. It's going to be looking grim for those. And then the Skull Cannon possibly going to do the same. And the Herald's unit, the Warlord, he's setting himself up for a charge in this little gap. I'm going to add to this melee combat, so it's just down to Khorne and that Iron Priest to hold back the tide here. And so let's see what the Daemonkin can do in their shooting phase. So Daemonkin have opened up with the shooting. It's these two vehicles that do the damage, and a few shots from the cultists. They put all their firepower on the Blood Claws, managed to kill all except one. Some decent saving from the Blood Claws, but they succumb in the end. So it's a morale check there on an 8. And that's a fail on a 9, so he's going back 9 inches. So he's going back, he's not going to be able to do a counter charge into that combat there. And now it is the demons to make their charges. So the Herald's units have made it in the combat. The Herald has issued a challenge to Khorne. So it's going to be such a close contest. So a fight between the Warlords. The Herald has got 5 attacks. He's hitting on 3s. So he gets 3, 4 hits. And he's wounding on 2s. So there's 4 wounds. Khorne has to save at least 3 of these on 4s. And he does, he takes a single wound, so he's going to be able to fight back. The initiative 5, he's got 4 attacks, he's got an extra weapon. So he's hitting on 4s. And he re-rolls in challenges, thankfully. Okay, that's just 3. And he's wounding on 4s. Gets to re-roll the wound in challenges. So there's 2 wounds. It could be enough. He needs to roll 5s. And then he needs to feel no pains. And the Herald is being killed. That is fantastic. So that's a victory point for Khorne, even if he goes down there. And that's Slay the Warlord. So it's all up to the Iron Priest to survive the oncoming fury of the Khorne army now. So a sea of attacks comes in on the Iron Priest. He's held strong against the Possessed and a unit of Bloodletters. The one that has just charged in with a mountain of attacks. They've only been able to achieve 3 wounds, so he's going to need to save these on his 2+. He saves. What is that? It's a 4. And a 4, so he saved all those. He only has to put up with the Spawn's attacks, and it's going to be an unlikely victory if he makes it through. Okay, so 2 more attacks from the Spawn now, and he's wounded twice, so we've got 2 saves to make. On the Iron Priest, he gets it, and he gets it, so he survives. He's just taken all the hits for Khorne, and Khorne's singling out all these demons. I cannot believe they've made it through that. So that's bad news for Khorne. But there's a massive attack over here. The Long Fangs are counter-charged. It's going to be another big fight here. Luckily for the Space Wolves, they'll be going first because the demons charged the cover. But will it be enough? The demons have played Furious Charge and Rage this turn, that card, and they've still got Feel No Pain. It's going to be hard to get through these. So this combat just goes through like a wrecking ball. The Space Wolves really regret the decision on putting the Long Fangs in there, because the demons just got all the saves and all of their Feel No Pains. It's a major boon to them having Feel No Pain, and in return the demons do a little bit of a blunder. They don't dedicate enough dice to the Long Fangs and they manage to survive. So there's 2 Long Fangs left, and it's a major blunder because there's an objective in there, and the Space Wolves are able to contest that one. So that's very frustrating for the Daemonkin, and very frustrating over there losing the Warlord, and it's going to allow Kingslayer for the Space Wolves I've been keeping that all game. So two blunders there for the Daemonkin, but it's looking like a sledgehammer on this side. I don't think the Daemonkin will be able to be stopped in the Space Wolves backfield. So it's on to Space Wolves turn, well, the next turn, I think it's turn 4. And how many victory points did the Daemonkin come away with?
Just secure objective 2.
Secure objective 2, which is all the way down the field where the cultists are, right where the skull cannon is. So a mixed bag of results there for Daemonkin, but they do come away with a point, and that's a very frustrating episode there for them. Space Wolves' turn to retaliate. They're starting to move. Murderfang last turn even, he minced up those last bloodletters, and he was consolidated 6 inches. He's moved a further 6 inches, and he's got a 9-inch charge to make on these cultists. And if he can do it and beat them down, we might be able to secure that objective there. And this stubborn wolf scout, just as we thought he wasn't going to be doing much in the game, he needs that objective again. So they've proved very useful, those scouts. Murderfang, if he pulls off a good charge there, he could take another objective. And if Khorne and his Iron Priest companion can make it through this combat, that will just be biblical. The Land Raider, that's moved back and pivoted. If this can sort out this Rhino, the last 4 Berserkers they're going to have to get out. The Land Raider's got intentions of burning them down when they come out. This the Bloodclaw did rally. He could potentially go in then and help out these Long Fangs. And this last unit of Grey Hunters they've got out of the door at the back of this bunker, they're moving around and they're going to join the combat with. They're trying to stop the attack on this side of the board here. Must stop these at all costs, because Daemonkin do need this objective behind this weapons battery. Getting some shots here from this last cannon at the Mauler Fiend, and this Predator has moved 6. It's just spent all game trying to get good firing positions, and the auto cannon is going to have to get a shot at one of these vehicles, we think. So Murderfang is on his way, and there's some mainly charging this turn. It's going to be just as bloody as the last turn, I think. Okay, so it's been a fairly successful shooting phase for the Space Wolves. So the Land Raider eventually hull pointed this Rhino to death and was able to flame just 1 Berserker. So he was able to deploy the Berserkers just a little bit further than the flames could lick, so there's still quite a good strength. And the autocannon off the Predator finally speaks up, and he puts the last hull point on this Forge Fiend. He didn't get his It Will Not Die last turn. That would have been crucial, so that last hull point just stripped away. And the rocket launcher from the last scout, that just wildly misses. We think he's traumatized from what he's had to been through in the scope of the game. So it's just on to charges now. So Murderfang's got to make a 9-inch charge on these cultists here. And it's an 8, so it's not good enough. He's an inch out. He's going to have to suffer probably a blast from the skull cannon next turn. And there's just some certain charges over here, so we'll get this combat underway. Okay, so the Grey Hunters make it in. They're attacking the big unit of Bloodletters, and that last Bloodclaw is looking to just at least make something of his life. And he's charging as well, so it's going to be a big fight in the pit here. So this combat is resolved. The Longfangs get wiped out. Minimal damage on the Bloodletters in return. There might as well be Bloodthirsters. Only 2 go down. We'll lose the combat. The Blood Claw, he feels his morale and he drops back, but the Grey Hunters still stand strong, so I've got to put up with another round of AP3 attacks there. I don't think they're going to weather that storm, and because the Blood Claw fell back in the next turn, Khorne is set up to get that objective, so not the best result there for the Space Wolves, but Khorne are looking strong still. This combat rages on. The Possessed Champion, he issues a challenge to Khorne, which he gladly accepts. He makes it through his attacks without even a scratch, and the next initiative step is all the Bloodletters, and they're attacking the Iron Priest, so he has suffered 4 wounds, so he's going to need to do his magic again and save 4 wounds on a 2. Saves. Saves again, last one, come on, and he saves again. He's just taking these all on his +2 armour. He's got one last round to go through with the spawn. Okay, so the spawn has put one more attack on the Iron Priest. Could this be it? No, he saves again. He is just the hero of the Space Wars at the moment. Khorne is furious he's not getting the blood from that stone. So Khorne is up next with his axe, see if he can polish off these Possessed. They're a tough nut to crack with an invulnerable save and feel no pain. So he's kept his axe in reserve all this time, so let's see if it's sharp enough to do the damage. So Khorne Dragon Gaze manages to kill the 2 Possessed. This is the most indestructible combo I've ever seen, these 2. They've never done this well before in a game. And they've just got a few more Khorne entities to carve down, but it's still touch and go. Both suffered a wound, and there's still a lot of attacks there. A lot of AP3 attacks. So could Khorne prevail in the end, because it's now their turn. So just a recap of the points on that turn. This Wolf Scout picks up a victory point for holding his barrel. He's proved to be very useful. And Kingslayer in the last turn is D3, so another D3 chance. It is the full whack this time, so there's 4 points picked up in that turn. Very good for the Space Wolves. The Holden, they are holding, they're fighting very hard, and they're coming away with points. Khorne must feel frustrated at this point. Okay, so Daemonkin are going to summon another Skull Cannon. These are the bane of my life, these. So he's going to put it here, and it needs to scatter. It's very dangerous, and it lands directly on the spot. So fortune favours the bold, and he's going to take on this Razorback. It's only got its final hull point remaining. So that is that's looking like a bad situation for that, and he needs this objective here, so Khorne are moving in the places where they need to. Khorne just have a habit of just coming in from anywhere, just like that, and causing disruptions, especially in the later turns, so a very good army for that. And so it's on to shooting then. Let's see if it is the way to go. Okay, so Khorne moving phase. The cultists, after much thought, have moved down from this bunker, trying to just get cover from the Predator and try and get out of the way of Murderfang. These have done the same, they've stepped back. The Skull Cannon, he takes a shot at the last remaining Wolf Scout, gets a hit and rolls a 1 to wound, so that Wolf Scout is blessed. The Bloodclaw on this side, he's not so blessed. He gets shot in the face with a pistol, and this Skull Cannon is now going to shoot onto this Razorback, so it's a dead centre shot, and it's going to be a hit because it's ability skill 5, so it's strength 8, ignores cover, so it's going to need a 3 to glance, and it's a 6, so it's wrecked. It doesn't have any AP, so there is one Razorback down. for the Space Wolves, and now it's on to the assault phase. So in the combat there's more hard fighting. Khorne cuts down a handful of Bloodletters. It's going well, and the Bloodletters have only managed 2 attacks back, and we're going to take these on the Iron Priest again. So these are AP3. He survives again, and he's got 1 hit to weather from the spawn. And he survives that one. This is just rock solid combination, these two, and the fury of Khorne just mounts. So better news for Khorne in this department. They've won the combat by 2, and with the Drakeslayers formation they are stubborn, so this Grey Hunter's still going to be at leadership 8, and he passes on a 7. It would have been better if he fell out of there. He's got a plasma gun, he could have used that, but instead he's going to meet certain doom. So that is the end of the Daemonkin turn. Was there any points scored there?
Yeah. So big game hunter, secure objective 3.
Okay, so this objective here was scored by beating back these Space Wolves, and big game hunter for this Razorback going up. So disappointing turn in casualties in the combat, but 2 points for Daemonkin. That's very good, especially when they need it. So it's now Space Wolves turn 5. So we're on to Space Wolves in turn 5. We're just down to 2 objectives in your hand now. So the orders have came through, and it's behind enemy lines for the Space Wolves. This Wolf Scout is just the greatest Space Wolf there's ever been. He's picking up points left, right and centre, surviving all sorts of harassment, and he's bringing in the points for them. So he is going to be Wolf Lord after this, I think. We've got Supremacy to try and get, so there's an objective here where the drop pod is still, and this Razorback has moved on to a 3rd, and because the Daemonkin only have 1 here, you need to have double the amount of victory point objectives rather. So they've got 1. The cultists being intimidated by Murderfang, they've all dropped back off the objective, so there's another catastrophic blunder from the Daemonkin. So that is going to be D3 victory points at the end of this turn. So some fatal errors coming in from the Daemonkin. Okay, so the Space Wolves guns open fire. The Razorback, with just 1 shot, takes out the skull cannon, it explodes and disappears back into the warp. The Berserkers, they were here. They were flamed to death by the Redeemer, and the last one was finished off by the Predator, finally making an appearance. So he's done some good work, that Predator. And Murderfang, he's decided not to open up with his flamer here. He could get 6 into that template, but he's gonna go for a 9-inch charge, because if he can make it, kill all of those, then consolidate, he can try and come over and save Khorne, because it would be such a shame if Khorne goes down. He's fighting so hard. Well, he's not fighting so hard. The Iron Priest, he's fighting hard, or dying slowly, whichever one you want. But the Wolf Scout, he is going to open up with his rocket, and he's going to try and take out this skull cannon in a return fire. So he's hit this time, and that is a penetrating hit. The skull cannon has got a 4+ save for being behind this wall here. So it's a 4+ save. Okay, he saves it, so wasn't to be for that Wolf Scout. These legends will be told about him. Sagas will be written, but not about that missile shot. So it's back to assault phase now, and the Space Wolves are primed and ready. So here comes Murderfang on a 9-inch charge. Oh, it's only an 8. Misses it by an inch. So this combat is underway. Khorne lashes out, he gets all of his attacks, and the demons save every single one with the demon save and feel no pain. Assortment, so they strike back, and they strike back hard. They've got 4 wounds. We're going to take these on the Iron Priest as usual. It's going to save on a 2, and he's dead on the first one. So there's 3 AP 3 hits to save on Khorne. He needs to save on 4s, and he's succumbed. He's dead. The combat is over. The dream is gone. Murderfang heralds the failed charge. Couldn't get there in time. And they all succumb under the weight of the blood red Khorne. So as you can tell, that's the wind out of my sails. And then we've got these bloodletters finally squash the last Grey Hunter, and they're on to try and capture the objective behind this gun. So now we've got a bit of success from Khorne there. Disappointing from Space Wolves having the leader drop, but there is some good points in there. Got behind enemy lines from the Wolf Scout, so he brings in 1, and then there's Ascendancy for D3, and it's another 3. So Space Wolves may have lost the Warlord, but the points are still coming in thick and fast. Well, since the death of Khorne, I think the new Warlord will have to be this Wolf Scout in future. Okay, so it's Daemonkin, turn 5. Another Skull Cannon is turning up right here after we just dealt with the last one. So he needs objective 1, and it is on this side. So it's going to deep strike in. Ooh, it's a wild scatter, 12 inches to the left, but it isn't going to be a mishap. It's just going to have to take a dangerous terrain test possibly. So the Skull Cannon comes flying out of the warp a little bit too much, put a little bit too much mustard on it, and it comes all the way over 12 inches, puts its toe on the cover and becomes immobilised on a 1. So Khorne, despair at that. That is just an immobilised chariot, and it's just totally out of range of this objective, so calamity all around. It was a dangerous deep strike, but it's just took them way out of where they needed to be. And you're playing Feel No Pain again for everybody as the lesser card.
Yeah.
So Feel No Pain all around. Once again, it's just such a hardship to get through. And let's see what else the Daemonkin can do. They still need this objective. Okay, so Daemonkin, after that wild scatter, has made this objective totally off limits to them. It's just behind the drop pod here. There we go. And the demons have ran up onto this objective, but it's still being contested by the Razorback, so being denied on 2 fronts. It's so frustrating for the Daemonkin, and everything else is Sanferian. So we've got the last gasp from the Daemonkin. There's the Skull Cannon. There's a revenge attack on the Wolf Scout, so the centre of the large blast is on his head. Not only is it a revenge attack, if he kills the Wolf Scout, then it is stop and line breaker as well. So that is going to scatter 3 inches. It's still going to hit, more than likely on the big blast, so needs a wound on a 2. And he's taking a wound, so he's got an armour save of 4. Will he go on to command the next Space Wolf army? Yes, he will. So he survives, picks up a line breaker point, and goes on to be the next Wolf Lord after Khorne's demise. So Khorne have agreed to concede there. The Space Wolves just picked up so many victory points in the last dying breaths of the game. That is just such a battle, one of the best ones we've had in a while. Khorne just putting up such a fight against these all of these units, and then eventually succumbing. That was sad but entertaining at the same time. And the Daemonkin just a little bit rusty on the demon front, and Space Wolves take over the field works and defences. So perhaps the next game might be for the Space Wolves might be a defence of this terrain, possibly go for Planet Strike the next time, defending these objectives. That might be pretty good. So it's a good game. Hope you enjoyed it.